We got together in 1980. We went up to New York to play a show trying to get a record deal. So yeah, we had 7 years of touring a whole lot of the country, actually. We did a lot of traveling. Just playing wherever we could possibly get a gig.
87.
And you signed with Megaforce in 87?
Yeah, 87, yeah. The record came out in 88, yeah.
88, the debut album.
A friend of mine played drums with Amy Grant, got our demo, and he called me up and said, you should get a hold of these guys. And so we had our manager do it, and we got a deal. Make a long story short, all other record companies rejected us, so.
Yeah. 100% of every label we ever heard of rejected us. It was great.
I'm sure they're kicking themselves now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, King, Shot of Love were the first two, and then Goldilocks was third.
Out of the
It's Love was played the most on MTV, so I guess you would say that.
It also got the highest FM chart position, but Black Flag almost did just as well. And Dogman on just FM radio, rock radio, did really well too. And the thing is, Over My Head ended up being bigger than any of them just over time as it got around.
We wanted to make a record that sounded like what we sounded like. The first 4 records were, you know, very worked and processed and produced, and we just wanted to sound like we did live. So Brendan came in and did it. I don't know. People say we went grunge, but we are grunge. We were grunge before grunge was, you know, and so, you know, I think we were just doing what we do. People just didn't realize it. Well, they defined us, and that's where all our fans started, and they still love those records, and they get goosebumps on them, so I have no argument with that.
and it's just where we were at that time too.
Exactly.
We were reaching for something.
Yeah.
We were trying to reach for something, and that's just what came out.
Yeah. And new producer also, you know. Sam Taylor had a lot to do with, you know, the way the first 4 records sounded.
Well, in the truest sense, I've always felt, you know, of course you know your fans that are still here today, that you were an album-oriented band. I mean, you know, it was the album quality, and I don't think you ever really lost that.
Cool.
Right.
Oh, not cool.
Yeah, that's always, well, I don't think we've gotten it right on every album, but we have always wanted to make a complete record, that's for sure. Not just have 2 or 3 good songs and some fillers, you know.
Yeah.
And then when the Atlantic situation came to an end, you come together with Metal Blade, and it was an interesting situation, and it was a perhaps a period that led up to what we have today, which is the indie situation. And
no, that with us, they always wanted us to do whatever it is we wanted to do, and they didn't want to interfere. They just said, do your thing, you know, just keep doing it.
And Slego and Failure are fans, and they wanted us on their label, and they just wanted to give us another chance, you know. We didn't have a record label, and there they were. I said, hey, come on, we'll keep your career going.
And
Good people.
Truth is, some of my favorite stuff we've done, well, like the Mr. Bulbous album, I'm still very fond of that one, and that one happened during that period.
We were always free to be creative, I think. You know, we just never knew what we were creating.
Yeah, and the only...
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying putting Frankenstein together, that's all.
The only time we ever had creative interference was from Atlantic at the very end. And there was this pressure to make singles, and we didn't really want to do that, and we became real unhappy with that situation.
And Ear Candy was nothing but singles, as far as I was concerned. We gave them hits.
Yeah.
Mississippi Moon, Looking for Love, sometimes, and to me, you know, just go down the list, Train, almost every song on that record, well, not everyone, but most of them were. I mean, I think we wrote songs for that record for that purpose.
That was what was the problem, though, for me, that we were actually just trying to make hits. And although, you know, now I don't really think there's anything wrong with that, but at that time where I was at, it just wasn't where I was at. I wanted to do things that were beyond the rules and be free and not have that pressure. And there was the pressure then, you know.
And we had fans who, I remember comments of, they felt like we had no focus on that record. We didn't know what was going on, you know. I mean, that came right after Dogman. I mean, Dogman comes out and floors everybody. Then we put out Ear Candy, and they go, "What's this? What happened?"
It's an interesting contrast. But were you pleased with the Ear Candy in any sense, or were you carrying that bitterness? Were you pleased with what manifested out of that?
I've never been happy
pressure?
with it, but at that point, you make so many records, you kind of don't. It's like having kids, you know. It's like, oh, here's another kid, let's raise him. You know, you love it, you keep on going.
With Metal Blade, they were always super cool to us. They, like Doug said, were always fans and still are. And I'm thankful they let us have the freedom we had to do whatever we wanted to again, because it was really nice to have that. But you know, everything just kind of has its season, and there was a time when, you know, there was the feeling of trying something else, you know.
Yeah. Hardest thing too for us is always putting that metal Christian prog category, which we weren't, and so you kind of screwed us a little bit, you know. I think because we just kept popping up in these metal magazines, and people, you know, those metalheads.
They didn't like us because they'd go, "You're not metal."
Yeah.
And we said, "You're right, we're not. We don't know why we're here either."
Yep. I dream and I watch bands and watch their careers, and Aerosmith had Dream On was on their first record, and it didn't become a hit till like 5 records later. For some reason, they threw it out there and it became a huge hit. But it was on their first record, and I thought, well, Goldilocks on the first record. Let's sneak it out here again and see what happens, you know. Nothing happened, but it was it was something, you know. It was something to try.
But there was some.
But we didn't let people know about it either, you know. But you know, how do you re-record, you know, a song that everyone's falling in love with, you know? What we should have did was just put it out again as it was.
Yeah, that's what we should have done. Just release the original one and left it alone. Yeah, we did have like a new generation of fans that weren't familiar with the early stuff finally.
Right.
And we were finding that amazing, that because used to be, we pull out the old stuff, everybody, and we started pulling out the old stuff, everybody's looking at us like, what's that?
Yeah.
And we're like, wow, we got new fans. And so that was, I guess, a thought behind it and reintroducing it. Yeah.
Excellent. Just goes to show there's new ears ahead.
Always new ears.
Right.
We've been together so long, we really can't sit down and explain how things work. We just do what we do, and we've been doing it for a long, long time, you know. I mean, other people can dissect it, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. We just get together and make music.